What's good, Tinania family? It's me, Miss Bees, for our sit down tonight, but it's more of a lie down. So, hey man, how's everyone's week been going? Well, my week has been amazing, but I've been looking forward to this. I just want to welcome everyone back to Sit Down with Miss Bees. It's a beautiful day night. It's very warm here in Perth. So felt the real summer breeze this afternoon, and not a fan of flies, and that's when I know we're really coming into the summer. So I've been blessed this week. I hope you guys have too. You know, it's been one of those weeks where it's just gone so fast. Like, I remember it was Friday night just a few nights ago. So hey, I don't know about you, but the days are just going by real fast and time is just ticking. But in saying that, thank you so much for those that engaged with the questionnaires last week for our Sit Down with Miss Bees. It was an interesting one, but I had a few of my subscribers that look forward to Sit Down with Miss Bees come in with a few topics that they wanted me to cover for tonight's segment. So hey everyone, look, a disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist nor a psychologist. So my advice might not be for everyone, and please, you know, I'm not here to dictate to you that, hey, this is how the problem should be solved, because I'm not about that. But what I can do is I can sympathize, but most importantly, I can just offer you my personal experiences. And, you know, it's entirely up to you. Their name's confidential. I'm not going to mention any names because the one of the topics is I was like, holy wreck, are you serious? But hey, this one's dedicated to you, and I will try my best to answer some of the questions or some of the topics that you wanted me to cover tonight. For our first one that came through last week is a very taboo subject in the Pacific Island community. But her question was to me, if your girls came home and said that they either wanted to be a male or was to be a lesbian, how would you react? Or what would your advice be? What would you do as a parent be? What would you do? Well, like I said earlier, I'm no professional in that field in regards to the correct answer. But what I can do is I can put myself in the position where, you know, they would come to me and they would go, or one of them would say to me, hey mum, this is where I'm at in life. I'm gay, or I'm a lesbian, or anything along those tracks. Look, the best thing I can do is I would be so thankful that they can come to me and they can share, you know, something very hard like that, because, you know, that's what a lot of us do. We're either in the closet, or it just comes that time where your mum and dad need to know, or your friends and family need to know. But then you get those that would hide, and, you know, suicide comes to thought because you feel like you're a failure to your family. I know in our community it was very frowned upon if we ever found out that someone was gay or someone was a lesbian. It was almost like they did something wrong. But what you've got to understand is we're all different, and some of us have those feelings where we are attracted to the same sex. Secondly, with open arms, they're my children, and that's my duty, and I wouldn't look at them any differently. I put myself in my parents' position when I was growing up. Look, I was no saint, But I can tell you, I put my parents through a lot of grief. I was actually quite a naughty girl. And I put my parents through a lot of trials and tribulations. But I had very understanding parents, and I'm very thankful for that. Because what I went through with my parents, I would love for my children, you know, to have with me and Duva. And I think we're very, very understanding people that in this day and age, you know, it's not only, you know, things like this where they would come to you and say, hey, you know what, I'm gay. You know, they actually want to come up to you now and say, Mum, I want to change the colour of my eyes, or, you know, I want to shave all my hair off, or I want a piercing, I want a tattoo. I think the problem is that we're facing these problems, you know, with our children at a very young age. So, you know, my first one was thankfulness that they can be honest with me. Secondly, it would be open arms to accept what they're going through. And number three, the journey for them, you know, because for some it may be just a, how can I say it without getting myself into trouble? Curiosity almost. And I can put myself in that situation. And it's for some, it may not be for all. So, you know, sometimes we're just curious to see what it would be to be like that. And, you know, some of us come out of it and some of us don't. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, because we're all different and we all have different feelings. We're all attracted to different things. You know, there's that mentality in the Samoan community, or, you know, just what I'm used to, where, you know, it's almost like your parents or just the world, life dictates, you know, once upon a time there was a prince that met a beautiful princess and they became king and queen, and they lived happily ever after with 3 children. It's different now. You know, nowadays it's like, once upon a time there were 2 princes that fell in love, or 2 princesses that fell in love, and they lived happily ever after. Back in the day, I think it would have been harder to accept. In this day and age, it's more accepted. Now, I'm not saying that. My girls are not at an age where they would, but you know what, girlfriend, if they were, like I said, I would love them regardless and support them, because we just want to be loved and they just want to be loved. So I know what you mean about it being such a taboo subject, but thank you so much for asking about that, because they're things that young parents like me and Doves will go through when our children do grow up. You know, and it's nothing we can turn a blind eye to. And I also think that when you see your children grow up, you're kind of always like, one's really girly or one's real tomboy. You know, sometimes we just need to prepare ourselves for that talk, because it's never planned, it's nothing planned. I do know that I've got a lot of friends in the industry that are, look, I've got some beautiful whawhawhine friends, and you know what? They are beautiful people just like you and I. I think there are too many judgmental people in this world, and we really, really need to probably focus on our own children and what they're going through. But yeah, look, that's my topic on the question that was sent through to me. But I just want to thank you for that one, because I think his parents, grandparents, brother, sister, mother, father, auntie or uncle, there is bound to be someone in the family that could be battling, going through that and feeling like they're all alone. So you know what, keep an open eye and ask them, hey man, is everything okay? So thank you so much for that question. And yeah, it kind of like preps me as a parent to see what my girls will. And you know what, regardless, I will always love them. Our second one is, how do you deal with anxiety? I suffer from anxiety when in big crowds. What can I do to try not to feel so anxious, or, you know, like people say that anxiety is a disorder. It is. So I just looked it up, and you know what? If you're saying that you battle anxiety, then Jesus Christ, girlfriend, you're amazing. You know what? I can't even feel it around you. You know how sometimes you can kind of detect those that seem to be a little bit uneasy? If it's something that you're trying to overcome, geez, you're doing a great job. I do know that anxiety is something that a lot of people do battle. I had a member of the family who suffered from anxiety, and I think the only way I knew there was a problem was when it was social interactions. That's when I kind of knew, do you know what? She doesn't do well around crowds, and that's okay. That's all good. But you know what? I think the best thing to advise there is to relax. Just relax. I know that you probably feel that you have a fear of doing something wrong, and then you're being judged by others, and then that causes panic and anxiety. I don't personally suffer from anxiety, but I do know as a child I suffered from shyness, and growing up being a bigger girl I suffered, you know, I just felt my views were negative, and I think a lot of it was covered by laughs and jokes, and to be that funny girl and to try and to be accepted into different crowds, you know, you kind of like had to be with them. There is nothing wrong with being yourself. If you have anxiety, I do know it's something that you have, you know, and it comes on. When you suffer from anxiety, you don't have it 24/7. It's a feeling that comes over you. So in regards to your anxiety, you know what? Sometimes you can probably exercise it and try and be around the crowds. Try and be around comfortable people that you're comfortable with. You know, there are, you know, people out there that do help, like Reach Out Anxiety Australia is another one. They have a call-free number that you can give them a call on. I know you're a beautiful girl, and you know, if you are suffering anxiety, I cannot feel a thing. I don't even detect it. So you know what? You keep on being you, and if it's something that you're battling, then you know what? We all know that we can go to our loved ones, your sister, your mum, your dad, your nanas, grandpas. But we can also go to the Lord. You know, we can go to the Lord in prayer. But all I can say is good luck with that. And let me know how you feel, you know, in your next comments on what else you'd like me to cover. But hey guys, I'm going into time. I just want to thank you for taking the time out, sitting with Miss Bees. And for those that have engaged in bringing in a few topics that I can cover. Like I said, I ain't no doctor, I ain't no psychologist or a psychiatrist, but what I can do is just offer my personal experience. But you know what, thank you so much for those questions, because that first one, wow, that's a strong one. And secondly, anxiety is something a lot of us suffer from. We probably don't even know we've got it. But this is your Sit Down with Miss Bees. If you'd like me to cover another topic, please down below. And I will see you next week. We've got a hot topic next week with a beautiful lady who's just returned from Peru, who I'd like to talk about her personal experiences with her life-changing career. All right? Love you guys. Blessed week. And hey, share our stories and comment below. And subscribe to our Tinania family page. And to use that, I've just started. You know what? Sole, sunga, pick up the camera, because I was a shy bird, but not anymore. Not anymore. But I love you guys, and you guys take good care. Most of all, God bless. There are 3 things that Miss Bees would love you to do, and that would be to like, subscribe, and share it.